In this video, we want to take a look at the syllabus for Math 151 online at Whatcom Community College. I'm going to get myself out of the way, and we'll take a look here. So this is 151 Calculus 1, Section Online 1. It is 5 credits in the fall of 2018. Prerequisite. It's assumed you got a C or better in Math 142, Pre-Calc 2. And I like to point out that prerequisites are a funny thing because, besides being a mathematician and a teacher here, I have also been an electrician. And in order to practice electricity in the state of Washington, you need to pass a test for the state. And you need a 70% or better on that test. But when you're doing electricity or electrical work and you have an inspector come in to inspect your job, the inspector doesn't look around and say, oh, you've got 70% of the stuff right, you pass inspection. It's like, no, there's one thing wrong, fix it. And you don't pass inspection until you got 100%. So I view prerequisites that way too. Yeah, you needed a C or better to get into this class, but you really need to know all the stuff from previous classes. And if you're doing some work in my class and you're messing up stuff from your prerequisite stuff, I'm going to say, fix it. I'll help you fix it, but we got to get to the point where everything from the past courses we can just do it. We can just do it, and it's available for our use. So anyway, that's where I am. Trig is one of the things that's in the prereq. You don't have a lot of use. You haven't had a lot of experience with trig yet, but we will use it again and again, and we will help you get used to all those identities and whatnot. But we're going to get to the point where it's just you don't have to think hard about the prerequisite stuff. It's just in your knowledge base. Anyway, of course, you've made it to WAMAP if you're looking at the syllabus, so you know that this is course 17309, and the enrollment key is 151. You've already done that. We're at WAMAP. I am Dr. William T. Weber. Just call me Will. My office is LDC 221. Even though this is an online class, you're more than welcome to come to my physical office and talk face-to-face with me in my office. If you're on campus taking other classes, please come on in. My official office hours are noon to 1, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but I'm essentially in my office Monday to Thursday from like 9:30 in the morning till 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I have a couple online classes. I only have one face-to-face class. So I'm available. Please come in. My phone number, 383-3566. Email me there at wweber@whatcom.ctc.edu. Okay, let's see. The textbook. Yes, the textbook is Calculus. Imagine that. Textbook called the same name as the course. Calculus, Volume 1 by Herman and Strang. This is published by OpenStax. Notice this is what we call an OER, an Open Educational Resource. It's free to use. If you go to, you click on, let's see, back on the WAMAP page here. So you are currently, sorry, let me see what it looks like here. You are re-watching the syllabus videos. So you've gotten this far. If you go down a little bit further on the page, there's a link for the textbooks. You can get the textbook either in a paper copy through the Whatcom bookstore. They charge just as much as it costs them to print it, so it's pretty minimal. I want to say probably less than $30. I don't think it's more than that. But or you can just download it for free. This is the link to the PDF version of it. I should point out that if you go to OpenStax and you look up the book, they have a completely online version of it, different than the PDF version. But the completely online version doesn't have page numbers, and it doesn't have problem numbers. So all the homework problems at the end of the section, they're all there. They just aren't numbered for whatever reason. So the PDF version is the one you probably want to work from. Just download the PDF and you can have access to the book for free. So let's go back to the syllabus here. Yes, the textbook. We will use the same textbook for Calculus 1 and 2. When you get to Calculus 3 and 4, we will use the subsequent versions of the same OpenStax calculus sequence. Again, it'll all be free. So, course description. We cover chapters 2, 3, and 4 in this textbook. It is We start with the notion of limits, and then derivatives, how to calculate derivatives, and how to use derivatives. The first half of the course is very much how to calculate, and then the second half is applications of the derivative. Okay. Outcomes, of course, there are certain things we expect you to be able to do by the end of the quarter. When you're studying for quizzes and tests, this is probably a good list of things, because this is stuff I'm going to try to make sure you know how to do. Of course, the college has their 5 core learning abilities. This class focuses on quantitative literacy. Of course, I'm not testing to see if you have quantitative literacy. You had to have it to get in here. I'm just enhancing your quantitative literacy. Anyway, requirements and policies. I've got to give you a grade at the end of the quarter. So I've got to base it on something. So let's see. Homework. There are 2 types of homework in this class. There's homework out of the book, and those are all listed right here, what I would like you to attempt. There's also homework practice problems within WAMAP. There aren't very many. I mean, if you took a 142 from me, there's quite a few practice problems in there. In the calculus, there's not as many, so you want to focus more on working problems out of the book. So the notation here in section 2.2, 2n plus 1 is sequence notation for, well, odd numbers, right? If n is an integer, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and you multiply it by 2, well, that would give you even integers, and then if you add 1 to those evens, you get odds. So 2n plus 1 is odd. Speaking of odd, this textbook has an odd way of numbering their homework problems. So chapter 2, all of the homework problems are listed in order from 1 to whatever, 200 and something, right? So when you get to the end of section 2.1, it doesn't start over again in section 2.2. It just keeps going from whatever number left off. So, so in section here, let's say section 3.2, I'm saying, how about this one? Section 3.7, do 2n plus 1, so all the odds less than 294. Well, less than 294, it's probably, it's not like you're starting at 1 and going to 294. You probably started at 260 and you're going to 294, whatever it starts at up to that point. Okay. I should point out here in 2.5, it just says n, so that n is all of the problems. So it's not like you got to do 190 problems there. You probably only have to do 20 problems. But anyway, do them all in that section up to problem number 190. Okay. So the numbering system looks kind of funny. Once you hop into the next chapter, they start numbering again, but they don't number by section. They number by chapter. So anyway, this is homework. Homework is not actually part of your grade. However, I think it is one of the most important things to do for you to get a good grade. You need to practice. I mean, think about anything you do and do it well, right? I mean, are you a skateboarder? Are you a skier? Are you a piano player? Do you sing? Do you do Sudoku? I mean, what is it that you do that you can do better than all the people you know because you practice it? You spend time doing it. Right? Math is no different. If you want to be really good at it, you've got to practice. I have years and years and hours, millions of hours of practice, me doing math, and I've got pretty good at it. Okay. And I hope to help get you good at it too, but the main thing about getting you good at it is you doing problems. Do the homework. And if you get stuck on homework, ask questions. And that's where the first part of your grade comes in. Each week there will be on the WAMAP page a discussion group. So a discussion forum, I should say. So I'm going to pop over here. So for instance, we get down to week 1. Oops, that's week 2. So in week 1, you will see the homework discussion. So you would click on that, and you would, if you had a question, you would ask your question there in the discussion. Other people might answer your question. I will answer your question. It works really well if people participate. And it's part of your grade to participate, so I would suggest that you do. Each week, I want you to do something of, how do I put it, make some positive contribution. Your contribution could be asking a question. Your contribution could be answering a question. Your contribution could be, everyone's questions seem to be answered, but here's a problem I did, and here's how I solved it. I was kind of pleased with the way it came out, and here it is, right? So show what you did. Sometimes it's just a matter of saying, hey, there's this other website I found that's really got a great video on this stuff that really helped me. Post that. Okay. Just saying, yeah, I agree, or hey, I didn't have any questions this week, right? Just because you make a post doesn't mean it counts towards the discussion. You've got to do something positive towards that discussion. And then you get the points for that discussion. I should point out that I'm usually a couple weeks behind in grading the discussions because I give a little bit of extra time for people to do it. There's no due date listed, but the due date is when I grade it. Okay, and it's usually a week to two after. So week 1 I won't grade at least till the end of week 2 because I let discussions finish up. Okay. But once I've graded it, then that week is done. Okay. And likewise, week 2 probably won't be graded until after the end of week 3, but once it's graded, then any future discussion doesn't count as points. Okay. So anyway, it's 10% of your grade. Just participate in those discussions. Quizzes. All right, each week there is also a quiz. Okay, on WAMAP, after the discussion, there will be a quiz. Now, when I look at, I'm going to switch over here. When I look at week 1 right now, I don't see a quiz. But after the homework discussion, there will be a quiz that appears here. The quiz will always appear on Wednesday of the week. It is due Sunday night at midnight. Okay. So this being only Monday when I'm making this video, it's not showing up in week 1 yet. But it will be there on Wednesday, and then you have until Sunday night to do it. Likewise, once week 2 rolls around, then you can, on Wednesday, start working on the quiz for week 2. They're not long. There's a few questions from the stuff from that week. WAMAP automatically grades them. I then, at the end of the week, after everyone's done them, I go back in and double check to make sure that WAMAP graded them correctly. It's not always the case that it does. Sometimes there's multiple answers that WAMAP only accepts one, and I can go back in and give either partial credit or full credit, depending on what you've done. So anyway, there's those quizzes once a week. Not on the week of the midterm or the week of the final, but all the other weeks there'll be a quiz. So there is a midterm and a final exam. So those are the other things that make up your grade. The math department here at Whatcom requires that on my online classes, or not just mine, but all the online classes, that at least 50% of your grade is proctored. So I do that by making the midterm and the final exam proctored. I'm going to ask you to come to campus. Let me see, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of the syllabus here where there's the calendar. So the midterm is on October 31st, Halloween, okay. And the final is on December 13th. So on both of those days, I'm going to ask that from 6 to 8 p.m. you come to campus to take the test. If you have any conflicts with that, then please let me know. I realize that online classes, people have different schedules, and when I pick one time, it's not going to work for everyone. Just let me know what your conflict is, and we will work around it. We can use the testing center. You can take the test earlier in the day. Anyway, let me know. We also have people that probably aren't even close to Whatcom, and we can find a testing center nearby where you are and send the test there. I mean, there's different things that I've done for different people who've taken this over the years. So just let me know if you have a conflict. I'm hoping to get as many as possible. Here on campus, that's the easiest way to go. But if not, then fine, we will find arrangements to make alternatives. So that is the final, and where am I? Back up here, the midterm and the final, right? They're both 30% of your grade. The grades then are calculated. It's essentially 90, 80, 70, A, B, C. But I think I need to stop the video right here so that I don't go over 15 minutes. I will start a second video up momentarily.